Hey, Rufus, how's it going, man?
Okay, we're live now.
Okay, I want to thank everyone for coming to our Caddo Parish Commission meeting, our regular session for March the 4th, 2021. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Here.
Commissioner Johnson,
Present.
Commissioner Jackson, Commissioner Young,
Present.
Commissioner Burrell, Commissioner Cawthorn,
Present.
Commissioner Gage Watts,
Present.
Commissioner Tyler Farrow,
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Atkins,
Here.
Commissioner Chavez,
Here.
Commissioner Lazarus,
Here.
and Commissioner Epperson.
Here.
Okay, great. We have 10 of 12 present and 2 absent, and you do have a quorum.
Okay. Ask that Commissioner Gage Watts will do the invocation and Commissioner Hopkins will do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay. Let us pray. Thank you, Jesus. Lord, we come before your throne of grace and mercy this evening, Lord, as humble as we know how. We thank you for your grace and your mercy. We invite you to this space, oh Lord. Let the words of our mouth continue to be acceptable and pleasing in your sight. Lord, we ask that you continue to watch over this land. Bless us, oh God. Bless those who fight for our peace, for our safety, for our justice, for equality, for education, and for life. Lord Jesus, thank you for what you've already done, oh God, and thank you for what you are about to do. God, I ask that you would bless each of us, oh God. Lord, we need you like never before. Bless our citizens, oh God. Help us, Heavenly Father, in all that we do according to your will. It is in the mighty name of Jesus we seal this prayer. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, hand over your heart. Active military and veterans can give a hand to brow salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gage Watts and Commissioner Hopkins, for those. Next item is
All right,
agenda
then.
additions.
That brings us to agenda additions. Do you have any agenda additions for today?
No, I don't.
Okay, I have not received any additional agenda additions either. We do have, at this point, need a motion to approve the consideration of items under Louisiana Revised Statutes 42.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Gage Watts, seconded by Commissioner Chavez to approve the consideration of items under Louisiana Statute 42-17-1.
Okay, you want me to go
Roll
ahead and
call, please.
start the roll call? Thank you. Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson, Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell, Commissioner Cawthorn,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts,
Yes.
Commissioner Calfaro,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus,
Yes.
and Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
And Commissioner Jackson, I heard you, but it wasn't clear. Could you respond again?
What are we voting on?
This is to approve the agenda for consideration on teleconference.
Oh, yeah.
Great. Okay, that motion passes with 11 in support and 1 absent. And then at this point, this is where on your agenda, the certificate of teleconference is attached. There's no action required. And that brings us to citizens' comments. We have received 1 citizen's comment electronically today. And otherwise, I could go ahead and give out that phone number if you'd like.
Yes, go ahead and get a number out.
Okay, that phone number is 318-226-6596. Again, that number is 318-226-6596. If somebody would like to call in and make a public comment, those comments are limited to 3 minutes. And I'll begin to read the electronic public comment that was received. This comment comes from Mr. John Settle in Shreveport. He says, good news on COVID, Northwest Louisiana. The positivity rates declined in several parishes for the week of February 22nd to March 1st. Caddo Parish had a 2.43% positive test percentage. Bossier Parish had a 4.53% positivity rate. Webster had a 3.49 rate. Sabine was 3.77% rate. Medical experts have indicated that a desire for positive test results to be at 5% or lower. That concludes the comment that we received from Mr. Settle. I don't see callers, but there is potentially a caller on the line. Michelle, do you have any callers on the line? Michelle, I can't hear you. If you're
Now?
I can hear you now.
Okay, hold on 1 second, please. Hello? Hi, I'm going to put you on speakerphone. You'll have to state your name for the record, and then you will have 3 minutes for your comment, okay? You're welcome. Hold on 1 second, please. Okay, you can go ahead and state your name for the record.
Yes, this is John Milkovich, 11570 Timber Ridge, Louisiana. Madam Chair and members of the commission, I want to thank you for the work that you've been doing and all the challenges that you've been facing, and with great intrepidity. We thank you so much for your efforts. My concern is really, commissioners, this really isn't something that I have received on my own, but I have obviously very interested in our community and a number of conversations with police officers, citizens, and juvenile judges. And I'd like to address something that we've been talking about for a while, and of course that's the crime problem. As you all know better than I do, a recent survey showed that Shreveport ranked 154th out of 182 American cities home and community safety, meaning that we are in the last about 10 or 12% of communities in America for safety. Know that over the first three quarters of 2020, our homicide rate was up 117%, and Chief Raymond was very correct when he said that those numbers were, quote, off the charts, unquote. We're aware also that a Louisiana Voice published some statistics on July 25th, 2020, which says that Louisiana has 61 violent crimes per 1,000 residents. That's higher than Baltimore, Detroit, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., and Atlanta, according to that statistical assessment. And in the first 3 quarters of 2020, there was 50 murders. And of course, listen, I know y'all are dealing with these challenges every day. I again thank you. And we understand too that not just that there is a problem with crime, we're very sensitive to the juvenile component. For example, on July 23rd of 2020, the Shreveport Times ran the article documenting that 3 teenagers were indicted for the March 29th, 2020 murder of Malcolm Cooper. And another 20-year-old was charged with attempted armed robbery of the same victim the same day. We know that in the summer of 2020, 3 17-year-olds and 2 19-year-olds were slain in our city. So, and this is, I think, maybe forcing us to look at some things in a very concrete and authentic way. Judge Paul Young, obviously a very highly esteemed former Caddo Parish juvenile judge, stated that, quote, Caddo Parish maintains the smallest juvenile detention center of any southern metropolitan area, period, not per capita, smallest, end quote. And of course, we know too from Clay Walker, who does an outstanding job in juvenile justice, that 120 youths in 2017, he said that 120 youths account for the majority of juvenile crime in Shreveport. Some of you
Mr. Milkovich, I'm sorry, but you've
I'm headed, and that is,
talk.
I think we may need to look.
Mr. Milkovich?
Mr. Milkovich, I'm sorry.
For interrupting you, but your time you've reached your 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm so sorry.
Motion to extend.
Enough job of getting to the.
Hold on 1 second. We may have a motion to
Second.
extend. 1 second.
Sure, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Second. You're muted, Mr. President.
Got a motion by Commissioner Jackson and seconded by Commissioner Talaferro to extend 3 minutes. Roll call.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson,
Yeah.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell. I'm sorry, Commissioner Cawthorn,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Gage Watts, I didn't hear you if you responded. Commissioner Talaferro,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yep.
Commissioner Chavez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus,
Yes.
and Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
Okay, that motion carries with 10 in support and 2 absent.
And Mr. Chairman, that was for 1 minute. I think my, what's the name, cut out.
Okay, I didn't hear it.
I'm
So
sorry.
that's 1 minute. All right. All right.
Mr. Milkovich?
Yeah, 1 minute, Mr.
Yes,
Mitchell.
ma'am.
Your time has been extended for 1 more minute, so you can go ahead with your comment.
Well, listen, Commissioners, I do not mean to disrespect your position. I know that y'all are dealing with these issues every day. I guess I'm saying in the limited amount of time that I have that I am urging as a citizen of Caddo Parish and half of the citizens, police officers, and juvenile judges that I've spoken to, and really people across the community, I'm hoping that we will relook at expanding the number of juvenile detention beds. St. Walker says 120 use for majority of juvenile crime. If we are able to place young people in detention, we're not only protecting the community, we're protecting them. One of the judges told me today that I've known for years. He said, "Look, the results of us having a 24-bed juvenile detention center, really it's dangerous for the kids because if they get the concept that there's no repercussions for what they do," he says that's, quote, "disastrous," unquote, because they're learning the wrong lessons and we have to try to redirect them. And I think, of course, my first concern is that, crime is a very full form of discrimination. It really, it disproportionately victimizes the poor.
Mr. Milkovich, your time is up.
Young, the people that are living in high crime neighborhoods.
Mr. Milkovich, I'm sorry, that concludes your time.
But your time has expired again.
Commissioners, I really thank you for the work that you've done on this issue. Again, I certainly acknowledge that you've looked at this issue from every which way, and I'm simply saying, I know even though we can't afford it, I guess I'm saying I think maybe we're at a place where we can't afford not to. Thank you, commissioners, for taking the time to listen to my concerns on behalf of the members of the community, and thank you for the hard work you're continuing to do on behalf of all of us. Thank you so much.
Any other calls, Michelle?
Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. No, Commissioner Johnson, we don't have any other calls.
Next item.
All right, that brings us to visitors. Under visitors, we have today a moment in Black history where there are several guests. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to President Johnson, who will introduce the first guest. After that, we'll have additional presentations.
Okay, I'd like to introduce Fred Moss IV. He's going to show us a video pertaining to Black history in our area, and hope that you enjoy it.
How y'all doing?
Mr.
My
Moss?
name is, how you doing? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm getting ready to share my screen, but my name is Fred Moss. I'm a professor at Southern University, and I'm also the director of Center for Critical Race Studies and Civic Engagement at Southern University. So the video that I'm going to show you today is basically, it's actually, I work at Southern University, and as you know, we are a system, and these are some of the contributions that the Southern University system has made to Black history. So sit back and relax. All right. Is my screen shared?
It's not shared yet, but
it's coming.
There, you should have permissions.
There we go.
Perfect.
All right, can y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go.
Did you know that J.S. Clark Elementary was named after the late, great Dr. Joseph Samuel Clark, the founding president of Southern University? Did you know that Leonard C. Bourne Stadium, located at Booker T. Washington, was named after the late, great Dr. Leonard C. Bourne, the longest-serving chancellor at SUSLA? Did you know that the former principal of Hollywood Elementary and Bethune Senior High, the late, great Mr. Albert Maurice Moody Sr., was the founder of the Caddo Parish Teachers Federal Credit Union? Did you know that the street that Green Oaks High School is located on is named after the late great Mr. Thomas Howard, the first principal at Green Oaks, and his daughter is Caddo Parish School Board member Dottie Bell? Did you know that one of Southern University's law school's first graduate and famous attorney, Dr. Jesse N. Stone, was president of Southern University System from 1974 to 85 and has a building named after him at SUSLA, the Jesse N. Stone Science Lecture Hall, and his daughter is Judge Shonda Stone? Did you know that Southern University's famous band director, the late great Dr. Isaac Ben Griggs, was from Shreveport? Did you know that Dr. Leon Tarver, a native of Shreveport and a graduate of Booker T. Washington, was Southern University president from 1997 to 2005, and he currently sits on the Southern University Board of Supervisors? Did you know that the Lakeside Golf Course was named after golf pro and former school board member and SU Hall of Famer Jerry Pro Tim Brooks? Did you know that the Jackson Building located at SUSLA is named after the late great State Representative Alphonse Jackson Jr.? Did you know that the late great author and professor Willie Burton served on the Caddo Parish School Board and was the author of On the Black Side of Shreveport and The Blacker the Berry? Did you know that Dr. Ray L. Belton served as chancellor at SUSLA from 2000 to 2015 and is now the chancellor and the president of the Southern University System? Did you know that Hillary Huckabee III Avenue was named after the late great attorney and four-term councilman Hillary Huckabee III, who was responsible for the progressive government in Shreveport? I can't forget about the late Carl Allen Pearson, founding member of the Crew of Sobek Mardi Gras crew, who also served on the police jury, Caddo Parish Commission, and the Caddo Parish School Board. Some of our other greats include Councilwoman for District 8 Tabitha Taylor, Eric Monroe, CEO of Caddo Parish Teachers Federal Credit Union, State Representative Sam Jenkins, City Attorney Ronald F. Latier, Southern University Athletic Director Roman Banks, and Judge Shiva Sims. The list could go on and on. This is just a little something to show the contributions of the Southern University system to Black history.
All right. That was our video showing the contributions that the Southern University system has made here in the Arklatex. And like I said, there are many, many more to go. If I really had to sum this video up, we'll probably be here for about 6 hours, because we have Southern University has been so instrumental in the growth and the progress of Shreveport, Louisiana. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moss, for that video and some of that stuff I didn't know about. Some of the Shreveport natives have made onto Southern University's campuses.
And I do have to say that Mr. Moody and the Howard family, the Moody family and the Howard family, if you ever get a chance to read the Centennial Book of Southern University, they're listed in that book as the majority of their family members. They had the majority of their family members graduated from Southern University. So the Howards and the Moody's play a big role in the history of the Southern University system.
Okay. And I also want to add that our assistant administrator is also a Southern University graduate too.
She sure is.
Any commissioners that want to say anything? But thank you, Mr. Moss, for the video, and we'll move on to Commissioner Lynn Carthon and his moment in Black history with the pioneering of the African Americans in law enforcement.
Good afternoon, fellow commissioners. We have a special guest, a special luminary who's been a part of law enforcement for a number of years in the city of Shreveport, serving in several different capacities. What he'll do this evening is give us an overview of roughly probably first 17 to 20 African Americans who served on the Shreveport Police Department. Without any further ado, turning you over to the capable hands of Mr. Marshall Nelson.
Thank you, Commissioner. To each of you, I'm indebted for this opportunity to recognize some of the first Black African Americans in local law enforcement. Do we have that picture available, Commissioner?
Yes, Jeff, put that picture up for us.
I will do it. One moment.
Commissioners, the picture you're looking at, going from our left to right, the big gentleman on the first row, I reduced it to just 2 rows. That's Marvin Thomas. He retired as a lieutenant. He was, in fact, the 3rd Black officer on the Shreveport Police Department. Next to him is Jimmy Lynch. Jimmy Lynch was with the Shreveport Police Department, and he left our service and went to Southern University, went under Dr. Stone when he became president at Southern. And Jimmy served as chief of police at Southern for several years. In fact, he was the first, and of course, this is noted among the entire group that a number of firsts, and of course, being the first group of Black officers, you would have to be first. But more important than that, they understood that it was a marathon, it was not a sprint. And more important than that, it was not an individual marathon, it was a relay marathon. So these gentlemen passed the baton on, and they were of the mindset that if they didn't do well, no one who looked like them would follow. The next gentleman on the first row is Emmett Patterson, James Jackson, Robert Lewis, J.C. Davis, and at the end of the first row was Assistant Chief T.C. Tisden. Chief Tisden went through the ranks from patrol officer, sergeant, lieutenant, captain, major, and assistant chief. Going back from my left, proceeding right, Joe Johnson, who was the 2nd Black officer, Dennis Ketchen, and the gentleman that's looking up, Larry Williams. Next to him is Roosevelt Richardson. And in between those guys is yours truly, Marshall Nelson. And the guy that's peeping over Jackson's right shoulder is Eddie Williams and K.R. Jackson, Kermit Jackson, Reginald Nichols, Merton Edwards, Eddie Clark, rather, and peeping over the left shoulder of Brother Davis is Roy Johnson. And then, of course, the gentleman between over Chief Tisden's right shoulder would be the late, great Robert Cawthorn, who is the commissioner's father. Just 19 of those gentlemen. And of course, there were others that served. I would just like to mention their names. They're not in this picture. Willie Jean Whitaker, the Reverend Steve Anderson, who is a radio personality. He had 20 years with the Shreveport Police Department at KOKA Radio. Andrew Lee, Eddie Swift, Miles Webster, William Bradford Sr., Milton McGrew, Lewis Porter, Andrew Lee, and many others. As the years went by and we participated in breaking the barriers and policing the entire city of Shreveport. It's been an awesome experience to render service. These gentlemen, like myself, we returned from Vietnam, and of course, many of them have. And to be honest with you, about 12 out of the 19 that's pictured are deceased. And of the ones I named who are not pictured, about 8 of them are deceased as well. So there you have it. Back in late '68, when B.J. Mason was president of the NAACP and Larry Boogaloo Cooper, we stood at Milam Street and the Elvis Presley Boulevard, and the Blacks formed the first row of the fence against a peaceful demonstration marching downtown to, they had boycotted Stan's record shop for about 2.5 months. And that was the culmination, was the march from Booker Washington all the way down to Stan's record shop. But Commissioner Dortours was not having any of that, so we stood in and they peacefully disassembled. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Okay. Commissioner Johnson?
Yes. Are you done, Commissioner Cardone?
Yes, we are. We are. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Nelson, for coming out and giving us the history of the first African-American officers on the Shreveport Police Department.
You're welcome, sir.
Next item.
All right, the next item is another visitor, and this is a representative from Southern University's Law Center to speak about the off-campus instructional sites. I believe we have somebody on the line.
Yes. Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good afternoon. It's an honor to be before the Caddo Parish Commission. I'm John Pierre, Chancellor of the Southern University Law Center, and I'm going to have Professor Belisa Alfred do a PowerPoint presentation on the progress we're making to the semester in Shreveport initiative for spring of 2022 as part of our plan to bring legal education to Shreveport, Louisiana. Professor Alfred?
Yes, may I please be allowed to share my screen? And I'd just like to say thank you for the opportunity. As a Shreveport native, product of Shreveport, Louisiana and public school system, it is an honor. So I'm about to share my screen and share the good news.
It looks like, there we go.
Okay, can you see it now?
It's up, thank you.
All right, let's go. First of all, I'd just like to say thank you once again. We are establishing a pathway for increasing legal education capacity in Shreveport-Bossier. I'm going to start with the slides now. We're at phase 1, semester 1. I'm going to introduce our OCIS leadership team. At the Harold Liz Chancellor Pierre, I've been appointed the OCIS director. We have OCIS facilities, Angela Gaines, OCIS facility, Rufus Jackson, Adrian Shields, library, Phoebe Padres, library, and Greg Spryer, OCIS technology. We have one objective: to give a brief overview of where we are and what we're doing. We're at phase 1 of OCIS pathway. This pilot is designed for third-year law students who will be finishing their third year in spring 2022. The students will be allowed to earn up to 16 credit hours or less and take part of in the regional opportunities in terms of employment and relocation opportunities. Now, where we are today, this off-campus instructional site will establish partnerships and relationships. We're leveraging our campus processes and resources. We're doing this in phase 1, the pilot program, as it relates to the spring semester 2022 and the spring semester 2023, third year SULC law students. What is our status up to date? The architect is layering and coordinating processes with the library, facilities, and IT. We're currently waiting for quotes regarding recorking windows, replacement of ceiling tiles, and carpet replacement on the 3rd floor of the Shreve Memorial Library. We've met with interested third-year students in participating during this phase of OCIS pilot program. The students have expressed concerns regarding available short-term housing in Shreveport for spring 2022 and breaking current leases, which we are in the process of addressing. Regional opportunities. I want to share some anecdotal evidence that has been ascertained from informational meetings in which the students have indicated specific interest in these areas. intellectual property law, judicial clerkships, legislation, public interest, employment law, family law, tax law, corporate law, criminal law, financial institution, and banking. Shreveport, Louisiana, we are here. OCIS stand ready to meet the demands of legal education in the Shreveport-Bossier area by establishing a pathway. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Johnson, would you like me to go on to another item?
Well, I was going to see if Dr. Pierre had anything else to say.
Well, I thank you. I wanted to, first of all, work towards giving you just a brief overview. We plan to be in Shreveport next month for the Southern University Board of Supervisors meeting. I believe April 16th is the day of that meeting. And we'll do a further update, which we welcome you to come and listen to the Board of Supervisors. Hardworking team. We've been working very, very closely with Mr. Tuggle in the library. The library is working hard to get things together. And we believe that we're going to be successful in meeting our first benchmark, which is to have that cohort group of students ready in play for January of 2022. Obviously, COVID and the pandemic has interrupted some things and disrupted some of the things we were doing, but we're making good progress. And we're glad to be offered this opportunity by Commissioner Jackson to make this brief presentation. But again, we'll have more, and we invite you to the Southern University Board of Supervisors meeting on April 16th that will be held in Shreveport as part of the Bayou Classic and Shreveport game activities. So again, thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Oh, we got one commissioner that would like to make a statement or ask a question, Commissioner Jackson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Chancellor Pierre and Ms. Alford, let me express my appreciation and thanks to you and the entire team. As I have often said that, we've got an end goal in mind, and just the energy that y'all bring to this particular endeavor. I'm looking at Lisa, I'm looking at your background. I just want to tell everybody, when we first had the first on-site visit, I met Ms. Alford, and she said her first comments to me was, man, it feels good to be back home and to be doing this project at home. And that is what I think the long-term goal should be to make sure that, one, we're trying to give individuals an opportunity that they can also get, not taking anything away, Dr. Chancellor Pierre, from the Baton Rouge campus, but instead of losing folks to Little Rock, Arkansas, or losing people to Dallas, or losing people to Jackson, Mississippi, or wherever, they can have an opportunity to get legal education here in Shreveport and Caddo Parish. And so, yes, I want to thank the facilities team who have been on the ground. Mr. Rufus Jackson is here in Shreveport. Chancellor Pierre believed in this mission so much, he basically took Mr. Jackson, no related. We've been trying to figure out for about 3 years what our relationship may be, but of no relationship. And but he took him in and put him on his staff. And so this is going to be a partnership that I hope this partnership is going to rapidly come to fruition. We've been meeting. I know the public may have not heard a lot of things going on about it. So this was an opportunity to give the public an update. And what we really want to do is we want to make sure that the long-term goal of this particular endeavor is to ensure that we have a vibrant, robust opportunity to offer legal education here in Caddo Parish. And so I'm looking forward to phase 1, but I'm also looking forward to how we get phase 2 done. And to be honest, some things have just fallen into place. Ms. Alford didn't talk about it, but some things have just fallen into place. The library board has put up funds to repair the roof. Is that correct?
LED lighting, and the library has actually did the LED lighting for all of the floors, and which was just, so a great endeavor on their part. And they've been the great hostess to say, this is what we have. How can we refit it for your needs? And they are also repairing the roof. So it's been a lot of reciprocity in terms of making this happen. And I think that's what makes it feel so good that we're doing this at the right time.
Correct. And we're going to be working and continue to work. The mayor has committed to making sure that this gets done. And I'm committed to continuing to push this issue from the parish commission. So I'm looking forward to having more conversations, and we'll look forward to following up. And if any commissioners have anything they want to add to it, feel free, because this is a parish endeavor. This is not a Commissioner Jackson endeavor. This is a true parish endeavor. And so I'm excited about it because it's something that our entire region will benefit from. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, would you like me to go on to the next item? President Johnson? President Johnson, can you hear us?
I think you got some sound issues going on.
Mr. Clark, if he's temporarily out of communication, I'd say let's go. We'll thank Dr. Pierre and thank Commissioner Jackson, and let's move on to the next item on the agenda, please.
Thank you very much. The next item is the final in our series. We've had a series of patriotic music to be played during this time of the meeting. And for this today, we have a video to share that has a brief introduction. So if you'll hold just one moment, I'll get that video playing and I will share the screen.
Maybe you know it by heart, or maybe you're hearing Lift Every Voice and Sing for the very first time today. Either way, you gotta pay attention to the lyrics. Out from our gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. These poetic words capture the struggle for justice in Black America. The song has been popular in schools and churches ever since it was first performed in 1900. But this week, it'll be heard by an audience of millions. So lift your voice and sing along, because now that the commitment to change has truly begun, as the song says, let's march on till victory is won.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmony of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the is won. Let us march on to victory.
There are forces that want to take us back to another place. We don't want to go back. We want to go forward.
All right, get your football gear.
Thank you, Commissioner Cawthorn, for that rendition of the Negro anthem. Next item.
Okay, next item on our agenda is to adopt regular session minutes. You have regular session minutes from February 4th, 2021, as well as
So
special
moved.
session minutes.
Second.
Who seconded?
Hopkins.
Been moved by Commissioner Cawthorn, seconded by Commissioner Hopkins, to adopt the regular session for February the 4th and the regular session for February 22nd. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell, Commissioner Cawthorn,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts,
Yes.
Commissioner Talaferro,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus,
Yes.
Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right, that motion passes with 11 in support and 1 absent. And that brings us to the next item on our agenda, which is special resolutions. We do have a guest on the line for the first special resolution and a request to read both that one and another one. Happy to read additional ones if y'all like, but I'll turn it over to you for a motion.
So move.
Or President Johnson, would you like me to?
Second.
Oh, great.
Been moved by Commissioner Cawthorn, seconded by Commissioner Gage Watts, to adopt the special resolution on honoring local pioneering African Americans in law enforcement. Roll call.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson,
Yeah.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell, Commissioner Cawthorn,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts,
Yes.
Commissioner Talaferro,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus,
Yes.
and Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right. And at this time, I will read that so that because I believe Mr. Marshall is still on the line. And we have, whereas the Caddo Parish Commission notes with great interest and satisfaction those milestone events that occur in the lives of citizens in Caddo Parish, and particularly when those individuals have led lives of commendable service to this community. And whereas the members of law enforcement agencies of Caddo Parish play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Caddo Parish. And whereas through bravery, perseverance, faith, and resolve, often in the face of incredible prejudice and hardship, local African American law enforcement officers served this community with valor and pride, abiding to its creed to serve and protect. And whereas routinely working 12-hour shifts, relegated to patrolling only Black neighborhoods, working with limited equipment, training 4 to a unit with restricted access to police facilities, these Shreveport Police Department officers answered the calls of robberies, domestic disputes, traffic accidents, and all crime in between with excellence and professionalism. And whereas these Shreveport Police Department officers recognized their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence or disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation by performing community policing, walking the beat in local neighborhoods, and by serving as security at high school sporting events. And now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission meeting in legal and regular session this fourth day of March 2021, that it does hereby recognize officers Marvin Thomas, Jimmy Lynch, Emmett Patterson, James S. Jackson, Robert Lewis, John Davis, T.C. Tisden, Joe Johnson Sr., Dennis Kinchin, Larry Williams, Roosevelt Richardson, Marshall Nelson, K.R. Jackson, Reginald Nichols, Merton Edwards, Eddie Clark, Roy Johnson, Robert Carthorne Sr., William Hines, and Willie Whitaker, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to this community, and in doing so have established for themselves an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. Be it further resolved that the Caddo Parish Commission does hereby call upon all citizens of this parish to share in the sense of pride, distinction, and honor that this attainment deserves. And it is signed by Commissioner Johnson, as well as Atkins and Cawthorn. Okay, that brings us to our next item, which is a special resolution.
Hold on, Commissioner Cawthorn, you want to say anything to that?
Just very briefly, we're in some trying times as it relates to law enforcement. It's always great to go back and to take a look from whence we've come. We are proud to stand on the shoulders of African American men who serve this community with valor and with respect and professionalism. So it's been my intent to get with Mr. Marshall Nelson, some time ago to do this. And so we just got a chance to do it in 2021. And we just want to also applaud the families that supported them during the efforts and during the times when they served the city of Shreveport. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Cawthorn. Any other commissioners want to say anything on the law enforcement? If not, next item.
All right, the next item on our agenda is a special resolution of appreciation and recognition for hall builders.
Move to adopt.
Second.
It's been moved by the chair and second by Commissioner Cawthorn. Roll call.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Jackson, I didn't hear you. Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner Cawthorn.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Yes.
Commissioner Talaferro.
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez.
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Yes.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries with, I have 10 in support and 2 absent, unless Commissioner Jackson, I didn't hear his response. So we'll leave that at 10 and 2, and that motion does carry. The next item on.
I need you to read that one.
You want to read that one into the record as well? Absolutely. We'll go for it. This is a proclamation of recognition for Hall Builders Incorporated. Whereas the Caddo Parish Commission is desirous of extending recognition and congratulation to organizations who contribute much to the strength and well-being of the community and the parish. And whereas such an organization is Hall Builders Incorporated, which was founded by Ricky R. Hall in 1984 in the state of Louisiana and incorporated as a general contractor in 1988. And whereas Hall Builders Incorporated is committed to the growth and development of their company through the core values of integrity, teamwork, commitment, and craftsmanship. They demonstrate professionalism through high quality service and great customer satisfaction. And whereas the company's primary business is to perform new construction and renovations on commercial and residential buildings, as well as government and municipal projects. And whereas one of the major accomplishments for Hall Builders was, one of the major accomplishments for Hall Builders is being on the 2012-2019 program management team for the consent decree rehabilitation for the City of Shreveport's Clean Water Project. And some other accomplishments include restoring the U.S. Postal Service affected by Hurricane Katrina, providing all repairs for Barksdale Air Force Base's housing and dormitory upgrades, completing development for the Lake Development Corporation, Section 8 housing rehabilitation of Post 525, and providing inspection for the Northwest region for the Louisiana Housing Finance Agency. Whereas Hall Builders provides a shining example of a business that started from humble beginnings, performing residential and commercial repairs, but grew into a multi-million-dollar company that now features a second generation poised to continue that impressive growth trajectory. And whereas the company has a commitment to Christian values and a family atmosphere among its highly respected workforce and a broad range of clients because of their proven talent for building relationships and building structures. Whereas Ricky Hall has received numerous awards and recognition for his accomplishments, including outstanding achievements as Minority Businessman of the Year, Louisiana Pacesetter Award, the National Association of Minority Contractors, Contractor of the Year, Louisiana Economic Development's CEO Recognition of Achievement, and Phi Beta Sigma's Business of the Year, among other honors. And whereas now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission meeting in legal and regular session on this 4th day of March 2021 that it does hereby extend its most heartfelt expressions of appreciation to Ricky R. Hall and his staff at Hall Builders Incorporated. And that is signed by President Lyndon Johnson, as well as Vice President Atkins. And that brings us to, did you have some additional comment, Commissioner Johnson?
No, I just want to say that that was basically a part of Black history as we see it now. Hall Builders has been very instrumental in some of the commercial remodeling and building in the Shreveport and Louisiana and Mississippi area. They basically led the charge on doing the facelift of Mall St. Vincent. And so they have been doing a lot. They just recently built the church that I attend, Morning Star Baptist Church. So a $5 million facility that they put together, and it's a wonderful worship center. So I just wanted to give them their accolades during Black History Month. That's all. Thank you.
All right, the next item on the agenda is a special resolution of appreciation and recognition for CNC Oilfield Services and Bulldog Oilfield Services from Commissioner Gage Watts.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Gage Watts and seconded by Commissioner Epperson. Roll call.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
The
Commissioner
President,
Thompson.
I would also like that one read.
Will do.
Thank you.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner Cawthorn.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Yes.
Commissioner Talaferro.
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez.
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Yes.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries with 10 in support and 2 absent. And at this point in time, I will read that into the record. And in a moment, my papers are sticking together here. Okay. This is a resolution of recognition and appreciation for CNC Oilfield Services and Bulldog Oilfield Services, and it reads, whereas the Caddo Parish Commission desires to give appropriate recognition to those men and women of Caddo Parish who serve the community and who in doing so reflect favorably and positively upon themselves, their families, and all the citizens of this parish. And whereas CNC Oilfield Services and Bulldog Oilfield Services moved quickly during the 2021 Caddo Parish winter storm to help the local water situation. And whereas knowing hospital officials were in a panic due to the city's water system being down and a water source was necessary to keep hospital boilers going, CNC Oilfield Services and Bulldog Oilfield Services braved the wintry weather and dangerous road conditions to provide much needed water to the local hospital systems. And whereas 18-wheelers were directed to Christus Schumpert, Oshner LSU Health, Willis Knighton Piermont, Willis Knighton North, and Progressive Care Center in an effort to deliver water during this time of need. Now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission, meeting in legal and regular session on this fourth day of March 2021, that it does hereby extend its heartiest expressions of appreciation and commendation to CNC Oilfield Services and Bulldog Oilfield Services for the dedication they displayed in assisting the citizens and hospital systems during the 2021 Caddo Parish winter storm. Be it further resolved that the Caddo Parish Commission does hereby call upon all citizens of this parish to share in the sense of pride, distinction, and honor that this attainment deserves. And it is signed by President Johnson, Vice President Atkins, and Commissioner Gage Watts.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. President Johnson, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to publicly thank CNC Oilfield for their acts of kindness during this unprecedented winter storm in Caddo. Those trucks pumped over 100,000 gallons of water per day at Ochsner LSU Health and St. Mary campuses alone. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you publicly for their services.
Okay. Any other commissioner want to speak on this resolution? If not, next item.
Okay, the next item is a special proclamation for Ernestine Thompson.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Been moved by the chair, seconded by Commissioner Carthon to adopt the special proclamation for Ms. Ernestine Thompson. Roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson, I didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner Cawthorn.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Gage Watts, I wasn't able to hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Talaferro.
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez.
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Yes.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries with 11 in support and 1 absent. Would you like me to read that one as well, or is that? Would you like to
Yes,
advance?
sir. Go ahead.
Okay, great. A proclamation for Miss Ernestine Thompson reads, whereas the Caddo Parish Commission notes with great interest and satisfaction those milestone events that occur in the lives of citizens of this parish, and whereas such acknowledgement and recognition are due in abundant measure to Mrs. Ernestine Thompson of Caddo Parish, who celebrated her 84th birthday on February 25th, 2021. And whereas Mrs. Thompson, affectionately known as Miss T to the community, or Mama Stein if she fed you, she is an extraordinary woman with lots of love to give. And whereas Miss T is known by many current and past associates and friends as a woman with a hardworking and helpful spirit, as well as a strong and purposeful resolve to make a difference on behalf of her neighbors and community by being actively involved for over 50 years. And whereas among the many accomplishments she's had, Miss T also helped organize an AARP chapter in the Cooper Road community, as well as serving as one of the first board members for the David Raines Community Health Center. And whereas Miss T was also recognized in Washington, D.C. as an income tax preparer for Caddo Parish, for over 40 years she provided free tax preparations for the citizens and the MLK community. And whereas Miss T is a pillar in the community and has mentored hundreds, maybe thousands of young people. In doing so, she has passed on her wisdom and provided them with training opportunities and skill sets that have helped them obtain jobs. Many of those who have worked for Ms. T have moved on to becoming managers, successful business owners, and leaders in the community. The saying goes, if you work for Ms. T, you can maintain a job anywhere. And whereas the passing of the years has slowed but not stopped her activities, she enjoys cooking and sharing meals with others. She's also a faithful member of Lake Bethlehem Church, where she serves in the Sunday school department. And whereas Miss T has been a blessing to all she's come in contact with over the past 84 years and is joined by family and friends today to celebrate this exciting milestone in her life. Now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission does hereby proclaim Thursday, February 25th, 2021 to be Mrs. Ernestine Thompson Day in Caddo Parish, and wishes Miss Thompson a very happy 84th birthday, and prays that she will be blessed with the continuation of life, health, happiness, and contentment for the rest of her days. And
Yeah, Miss Thompson had a drive-by birthday party in front of David Raines Medical Center, and she just was overflowed with joy of all the people who came out in the parade to get the resolution, the proclamation from the city and also the parish, and to also get a key to the parish as well. She just was overjoyed with that, and her birthday party was broadcast over one of the radio stations, and so she just was all happy about all that. And if you hadn't had any of Miss Thompson's food, you've been missing out. She cooks very well. I know Commissioner Epperson loves the gumbo and the peach cobbler, but she does a whole bunch that's real good. Are there any other commissioners that want to speak to that?
it looks like Commissioner Epperson.
Commissioner Epperson, I see your hand, Commissioner Epperson.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. You took my peach cobbler and gumbo away from me. I had the opportunity to be president of the Cattle Community Action Agency for 10 years, and we look forward at every Christmas program for our board of directors where Miss Thompson would cook that peach cobbler and gumbo. Now, be it made that you all may know some persons that say that they are the #1 gumbo cook, peach cobbler, but I beg to differ with you. And if you ever get an opportunity, try and get some of Miss Thompson's peach cobbler and gumbo. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no one else, next item.
All right, and she does sound like a great lady. We enjoyed learning about her. And let's see, communicates and committee reports is the next item on the agenda.
Okay, did a little research on communiques and the meaning of that. And communique is an official announcement or statement, especially one made to the media and committee report. So if we limit our conversation to whatever official statements you want to make, and those are to the media and also any committee reports that you might have. Commissioner Jackson.
I left my short story that I was going to read to everybody today. But I just want to note that, very briefly, that I understand that we are moving to a sort of modified phase 3. But I want to caution folks that we're not out of the woods yet. I don't want folks to let their guard down. It's no secret that I'm not a medical professional and I don't ever pretend to be one, but I did work in the public health sector, and I still sort of work in the public health sector, just not in the clinical setting anymore. But if you look at the numbers, and it is true, the numbers have been consistently falling. However, when you line those numbers up with the realization that testing has been somewhat falling off or dropping off, that's why we continue to advocate to make sure that we have testing available, particularly as variants start to come out. And so I think we are in a very parallel situation. I do not think that we're in March 2020. Let me be clear. I don't think we're at March 2020. I don't think we're in September 2020. I want to be very clear. I don't think we're in such a dire situation like that. But do understand, I want people to understand that because everybody's not getting vaccinated right now, there's still a lot of people left to get vaccinated, to get to the herd immunity, to get to that common place. But I want folks to understand that more people are now just going to go get, people are basically saying, forget the test, I'm just going to go get vaccinated, or I'm just going to wait it out till I go get vaccinated. So we have to line all of those realities up. The numbers that we're seeing, of course, I have been saying for quite some time, my hope was that with 6 or 7 days of snow and ice on the ground and folks kind of being hunkered down, particularly those individuals who just didn't want to comply with social distancing and mask mandates, and those businesses that, didn't want to comply. I think it gave an opportunity to kind of force Mother Nature kind of forced a quarantine on everybody, which, after 6 or 7 days, even if you do have the virus in you, it's not as lethal, it's not as deadly. The contagious aspects of it is not as harmful. But we can't take for granted the variants that are going around, and we can't take that for granted. So again, I just want to continue to urge people, even if I got my first dose of vaccine, and I continue to wear my mask, I continue to keep my distance, and I continue to encourage individuals who I know and I love to do the same thing. So I'm encouraging Caddo Parish, let's stay the course. Let's see it all the way through. We have to see it all the way through. It does no good to take the medicine if you're not going to follow the instructions the doctor gives you. And anybody who's been to see their primary care physician they'll tell you, you got to follow the directions on the label, or something bad can go happen. Something bad can happen. So I'm looking forward to being able to get back out. Nobody likes to be hunkered down, but we have to make sure that we don't take our eyes off the goals. Again, I want to thank Southern University Law Center for coming on today. We will, at some point as a body, have to make sure that we are having conversations about how do we continue our support as we go forward. Dr. Wilson, if you could, I made a request on Monday, and I haven't seen the updated list. I don't know if y'all even mailed it out, but and are we still going to try to attempt to do a legislative? I know President Thompson had asked about doing maybe a legislative Zoom call or something.
Yes, sir. We got a plan for the last week of this month.
Okay, and just an idea. I pitched it to our clerk. At my company, we send like a Grubhub kind of thing where you can go and either get your lunch and bring it back to you, or you can get DoorDash where lunch is delivered to you. And so we kind of just sit at home or sit wherever we are, and we are on Zoom having our lunch meetings. And it kind of adds another dimension, gives another new life to just kind of sitting and being on a Zoom call. So that may be something to think about if y'all want to add that level of creativity to it. But hopefully we will engage our delegation and specifically on issues of economic development. I think we really have to have a conversation about how and again, I'm not trying to be anti-public records. I don't want people to think that I'm anti-public records. But when we're in fierce competition with I-49 to the north and I-20 to the west, we have to be mindful. I'm even so conspiracy driven to believe that they may pay people to come do a public records request just to create hysteria around it. And so if we can have those things just sealed, no different than a police or law enforcement officer that's involved in an officer involved shooting or is going through a disciplinary hearing, their records are sealed until the investigation is done. And all we're asking, or all we would ask, is for those things to be sealed until whatever happens happens. So I think it's fair to everybody, because we want everybody to win, and I think that's how we can be more competitive in our economic development. That's it for me, Mr. President. Thank you.
Commissioner Epperson.
Thank you. The United States of America, as of yesterday afternoon, there are 28,800,000 cases and climbing of COVID. The death rate is 518,000 and climbing. up 2,369. While it is somewhat in decline, as Commissioner Jackson stated, we are still in a very precarious position. The state of Louisiana, 432,000 and climbing, up 500. The deaths in Louisiana, 9,668, up 21 and climbing. However, there is some declination into the COVID-19 situation as far as people contracting it, and deaths are down. However, we are still in precarious positions. Caddo Parish, 24,779. The deaths, 677. I would ask everyone to please do not become complacent because the vaccination is being administered. There's still a long way to go. There's a variant that Dr. Fauci came on this morning and stated that it is very, very dangerous with some states that are lifting the mask bans. So please continue to mask up. Please continue to social distance. Please continue to do the things that have helped us to mitigate this dreaded disease as to where we are today at this point in time. And also, some of you may not be aware that the governor on yesterday shifted us to phase 3. Here and again, please do not become complacent. Please take the vaccination. I have taken my second dose and everything is lovely. I ask everyone that I see to please take the vaccination. On a national, on a local level relative to the disaster with the ice storm that we recently just come out from under, there are a lot of victims of national disasters that are preyed upon by unscrupulous characters. The Department of Justice, Attorney General Jeff Landry, has put out an informational pamphlet that anyone would like a copy of it. I've compiled a 3-page document relative to that. But for the time being, you can call 800-351-4889. That's 800-351-4889. There's also a disaster fraud hotline, price gouging, things of this nature. All of those things happen during national disasters. That number is 866-720-5721. 866-720-5721. Please, for those of us that have the ability, let's make sure that we look after our senior citizens. There are many homes that the lines has frozen and bursted. People cannot afford to get them repaired. So there are people that are still suffering. So let's look upon our seniors and make sure that they are not preyed upon. And any fraud or price gouging or things of that nature, you can contact the local district attorney, the sheriff's department, or your police department. Mr. Wilson, are you on?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wilson, I think it may have been misunderstood when I made a request some time back to ask that at each meeting we have, not just the work session, because there are different people that listen in at different times. And the regular session is our official section. And I would ask that you would please give us a report of the status of the rebel monument at the courthouse and the verbiage. So if that at this time, would you please do so, sir?
Yes, sir. The wording on the monument cover box was completed as of today. The relocation of the Confederate monument, the mandatory pre-bid conference had to be rescheduled from to last Thursday to February 25th due to extreme weather events. The awarding of the RFP is estimated to be completed by April of 2021, with the approved contract being signed by May 2021.
Thank you. And finally, I would like to commend the Caddo Parish, the entire body of the Caddo Parish Commission, administrative staffs, all of our workers for the work that they did in doing what they could to ease the suffering and the pains relative to the ice storm on behalf of our citizens. Road clearings, delivering the water, working collaboratively with other entities, the city of Shreveport, all of those agencies came together, our rural areas, and it is to be commended. And on behalf of the citizens, we would like to thank you all very much and hope that we will continue to keep up the good work that we're doing. And there are some things that I'm sure that we've learned where we will do better in the event that this does happen again in the future. Thank you.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes, I just wanted to let everyone know on the Policies and Procedure Committee, I plan to convene that committee on Thursday at 3 o'clock. We'll do a Zoom and we'll address the 2 bylaw changes that were given last Monday. And then we'll discuss how we want to go about looking at the bylaws as a whole at that time. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Cawthorn.
Thank you there, Mr. President. At this time, I just want to pay condolences to the late, great Vernon Jordan, who died this Monday at the age of 85. You know, he was a civil rights leader, former head of the National Urban League, a lawyer, Wall Street Titan, presidential advisor, and a tireless advocate for social justice. Always well-dressed and regal. I am wearing his patented white collar shirt today and pinstripe suit to pay homage to this luminary. And I followed his career ever since I was a teenager. People around America often speak esoterically to the notion of an individual bringing people together. Vernon Jordan embodied this, often sitting in boardrooms across from people that didn't look like him, lamenting that diversity, inclusion in corporate America is both right and financially beneficial and profitable. Mr. Jordan wrote 2 books. The first book he wrote was by Make It Plain, and the second book he wrote was entitled Vernon Can Read. There's a very funny story that goes along with the second book. He went to college in the mid-50s, and during his summer months, he would come back to his hometown of Atlanta and work as a chauffeur for a very prominent banker. So as he would take that banker from place to place, from appointment to appointment, he would wait in the car and read a book. And so it happens one day that the banker comes out early and noticed Vernon reading inside the car. And so later on that evening at dinner, he announced to his family that I have an announcement, everyone, Vernon can read. He found that very amusing because if he was an undergrad, he had to be able to read. So he was a great luminary, and he was a great person that made changes in Atlanta, in the South, and in this nation. I do have a brief video very brief video that I want Mr. Everson to play for us to conclude these comments.
I received those videos. I'm working on opening it right now. If you can hold on just one sec.
Commissioner Cawthorn, while he's doing that, one thing that you left out, he was a man of Omega Psi Phi fraternity.
I didn't leave that out. That wasn't for me to say.
Okay, if you're ready, I have got the video loaded and I will go ahead and share that screen. One moment. I'm sorry, let's see right here. Get this volume higher.
Black scholar of his generation. Century. W.E.B. Du Bois, preeminent black scholar of his generation, looked at America and declared that the problem of the 20th century is the problem of the color line.
And that's it. And if you guys will notice that Mr. Commissioner Jackson does have Vernon Jordan as his backdrop today. All right. Thank you guys very much.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
The next item is President's Report. Do you have
Okay.
one?
Yes, I do. First of all, I'd like to thank all of our public works, facilities and maintenance, administration, and this plain Caddo Parish Commission employees that was working during the winter storm. Your hard work was very appreciated to the citizens of Caddo Parish. I did form a COVID-19 Memorial Committee. It will be an ad hoc committee focused on the memorial wall. I'm asking Commissioner Talaferro, Commissioner Chavez, Commissioner Gage Watts, and Commissioner Carthon to be on that committee with myself, and ask that Commissioner Gage Watts will be the chairperson for that committee. We still have citizens without water, especially in some housing apartments and some residential homes. I was called about Woodlawn Terrace yesterday about some of their water being blocked in because they had pipes that had bust. And then there are some others. So we still need to be, mindful that some people don't have water even today. We'll ask that the Economic Development Committee chair will schedule a meeting next week so that we can discuss the Bayou Classic funding and potential funding for the LSU ask request. And that will complete my president's report.
All right. And the next item on our agenda today is public hearing for zoning ordinances and cases. And we have none scheduled for that today. The next item is our public hearing on ordinances. We do have several. The first, I'll go ahead and read that. And then would you like me to pause so you can open that hearing after I read it?
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Clerk, Mr. Chairman, can we do them all at one time?
The public hearing?
Yeah. Take them all,
yes, we can do
open
that.
it all up at one time, open and close them.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
Thank you.
I will read them all then. So
trying to save some time?
Well, I mean, I already got you beat on my record, but I won't want to beat you too bad.
Okay.
All right.
So the first item is the public hearing for ordinance number 6030 of 2021. It's an ordinance declaring the intent of the parish under Louisiana Revised Statutes 47-2236 to acquire full ownership interest in 5 parcels, namely Lot 5, Block 14, West End Subdivision, Shreveport, GO number 1714-02-52-5, Lot 11, Block 14, West End Subdivision, Shreveport, GO number 1714-02-52-11, Lot 10, Block 14, West End Subdivision, Shreveport, GO number 1714-02-52-10, Lot 20 and the east half of Lot 21 of Block 1, Curry Subdivision, Shreveport, GO number 1714-02-2120, and Lot 7, Block 9, Curry Subdivision, Shreveport, GO number 1714-02-29-7, and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is a public hearing for ordinance number 6032 for 2021. It's an ordinance to accept an additional 375 feet of the dedication of Paxton Road into the Parish of Caddo road system and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is a public hearing for ordinance number 6033 of 2021. It's an ordinance authorizing the sale of surplus fleet vehicles and equipment owned by the Parish of Caddo and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. The final item for public hearing today is ordinance number 6034 of 2021. It's an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the Riverboat Fund in the amount of $15,000 to provide an appropriation for the Norwella Council Boy Scouts of America and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Okay, public hearing is now open for ordinances 6030, 6032, 6033, and 6034 of 2021. You may now get the number to call, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you very much. And just for the record, we have not received any support or opposition electronically. So if anybody would like to call and speak on these items in the public hearing for or against, you're welcome to call 318-226-6596. Again, that's 318-226-6596.
No calls?
Doesn't look like we have any calls on the line at the moment. Do you want to give it about 30 seconds? Or do you want to?
Next item.
Okay. All right. So is the public hearing closed?
Public hearing is now closed on ordinance 6030, 6032, 6033, 6034 of 2021.
Thank you very much. That brings us to zoning ordinances for final passage, of which we have none today. And then that brings us to ordinances for final passage. The first item under ordinances for final passage is ordinance number 5961 of 2020. It's an ordinance amending and reenacting sections of 4-61 and 4-61.1 and enacting sections 4-63, 4-64, and 4-65, all of Chapter 4 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo pertaining to permits for the sale of alcoholic beverages and alcoholic beverage handling cards and otherwise pertaining with respect thereto.
Move.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Hopkins, second by Commissioner Epperson.
Jackson.
Commissioner Hopkins, you want to speak on your motion? Oh, Jackson.
Yes, very briefly. Again, what this was to do was just set up a committee instead of the committee as a whole having to meet. A committee of 5 would meet each time with the business owners, the sheriff's department. They would go through their process, and then this board committee would bring to the full commission a recommendation for the body to vote on. Now, there were some changes I did make on the amounts for fines, and the reason I did that is because I'm pro-business, no doubt, and I'm not trying to take anything away from making sure this has a little bite in it. But I think our bite has been too tough on the business owner and not tough enough on the person actually making the illegal sale. And there's a second part to all this. And if we pass this today, then we'll move on to that. But that's the reason I lowered them $250 for each first and second, but left $1,000 for the third charge. That's all I have.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. The committee is going to be they're going to be subject to all public meeting, public records, agenda
Yes, sir.
published, and they'll meet in the commission's apparatus, I guess, in their buildings and stuff.
Yes, sir. We'll meet here or on Zoom like we're doing now.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to be, when we start moving stuff.
No back doors.
I was about to say no smoke-filled rooms. All right, thank you. That's it.
Commissioner Epperson.
Yes. Been on the commission a long time. I can't recall how long we've had this process that's in place prior to this proposed change and amendment to this ordinance. Basically, to my knowledge, I can never remember a time that we did not attain a quorum. I think it's more easily to attain a quorum from 12 than it is from 5. I thought I heard at some point in time that the reason for this coming up was that they failed to obtain a quorum. I don't know what year that was. I don't know if it's 2019
Yes, sir.
or whenever. So I think we all know our duties and our responsibilities. I would not want this to be a little subcommittee, and then in essence, you got something coming back. It's a little more bureaucracy in the process. And I'm certainly not against changing the fines. I think that this should be a meeting of the whole, which it has been in the future, because whether you live in an urban area or you live in the rural areas, there are circumstances where somebody might try to go to one of the rural areas to purchase liquor. And I certainly don't feel that we should mandate the fines. We have done just fine. We have been very judicial and fair. It's at the discretion of the committee. Basically, someone would make a motion, instead of $1,000, they cut it to 500 or whatever it is, and that has worked quite well. I think we've been very, very fair with this, but we must make sure that we let these businesses and whomever the workers are know that we will not tolerate sales to minors, because that puts us in a world of legal liability. Mothers Against Drunk Driving had come down with us when we was initially working on these items, and we had worked well together. And I think we would be remiss in our duties if we would make any changes relative to where we are. And the thing that we should do at this point in time is to make sure that we know our duties and we know our responsibilities, and we must man a woman up to make sure that we meet those. So I will be voting against this. Thank you.
All right. I see no one else. I also have great concern with, especially with lowering the fees, the fines that we established. To my knowledge, since I've been on, we've only suspended the license of only one business, and that was in District 2, my district, and they needed it. It was a gas station that was selling beer and wine to underage kids, and Northwood High School is within a rock's throw of the gas station. After we took the license and they've gotten it back, we've had no problems out of them. Sometimes those business owners need a wake-up call to see that we're serious about this. Each business has the opportunity to buy a machine that will allow them to scan the driver's license if the person that's working the cash register can't subtract years and know when the person is under 18. A lot of the state's IDs, if you're under 18, it's vertical instead of horizontal. There's a lot of things that are in place, but yet and still, some people decide to sell alcohol to underage people. And I don't want to be supporting an ordinance that will basically say, well, business owners, we're going to reduce or relax the fines. I want them to stay on their toes and to be able to watch their cashiers and to hire qualified people who could subtract, to get to know that they got a person that's underage that's trying to buy wine and alcohol. So I'm going to have to vote against it based on my strong belief that the underage should not be able to buy those drinks, and that we hold the business owners accountable and responsible to hire employees that can subtract. Roll call.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
No.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Jackson, I didn't hear you if you responded.
Sorry, yes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner Cawthorn.
No.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
No.
Okay. Commissioner Talaferro,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus,
Yes.
and Commissioner Epperson.
No.
Okay, that motion carries with 8 in support and 4, 8 in support, 3 in opposition, and 1 absent. No, I'm sorry.
No, 7 in
I'm
support.
sorry. Yes, you're correct. Yeah, I'm sorry. I miscounted. It was 7 in support, 4 in opposition, and 1 absent. And that brings us to our next item, which is ordinance number 6030 of 2021. It's an ordinance declaring the intent of the parish under Louisiana Revised Statutes 42-2236 to acquire full ownership interest in 5 parcels, namely Lot 5, Block 4.
I'm sorry, Judge. I don't mean to cut y'all. That's pretty long, but move to adopt.
Second.
I was hoping you might say
Been moved by Commissioner Jackson and seconded by Commissioner Hopkins to adopt ordinance number 6030 of 2021. Commissioner Jackson, you want to speak to that motion?
Yeah, just to recap that this is the process that we go through to acquire full ownership. We're basically partners in this particular endeavor with the People of Praise. They've come into the neighborhood and they've been there going on almost 20 years now, doing a great work, creating a living community. And they are interested in expanding what they're doing. They rehab homes, they clear out abandoned lots. And I had hoped that they would have asked to donate the properties, but they're actually wanting to purchase the properties. And so either way, I'm happy with the work that they do and happy to be a partner, have the parish be a partner in this endeavor. Thank you, Mr. President.
Seeing no other ones on board, roll call.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner Cawthorn.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Gage Watts, I'm sorry I didn't hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Talaferro.
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez.
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Yes.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries with 11 in support and 1 absent. And that brings us to the next item, which is ordinance number 6032 of 2021. It's an ordinance to accept an additional 375 feet of the dedication of Paxton Road into the Parish of Caddo road system and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Oh, boy.
Move to adopt.
Been moved by Commissioner Hopkins, seconded by Commissioner Lazarus. Commissioner Hopkins, you want to speak to the motion?
No, I just believe this is just a right-of-way situation. And so, you know, it's something the Public Works Department has to do from time to time.
Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner Cawthorn. Commissioner Cawthorn.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. I did hear that. Commissioner Gage Watts.
Yes.
Commissioner Talaferro.
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez.
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Yes.
Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries with 11 in support and 1 absent. Next item on your agenda is ordinance number 6033 of 21. It's an ordinance authorizing the sale of surplus fleet vehicles and equipment owned by the Parish of Caddo and otherwise providing with respect thereto.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Atkins to adopt ordinance number 6033 of 2021. Commissioner Jackson, you want to speak to that motion?
No, I'm good.
Roll call. See no other.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell, Commissioner Cawthorn,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts,
Yes.
Commissioner Caliparo,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus,
Yes.
and Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That motion carries with 11 in support and 1 absent. And that brings us to ordinance number 6033 of 2020 or 2021. It's an ordinance authorizing the sale of surplus fleet vehicles and equipment owned by the parish of Caddo. Oh, I'm sorry, the one we just read.
6034.
I apologize. Yeah, we're on
6034.
ordinance number 6034 of 2021. It's an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the Riverboat Fund in the amount of $15,000 to provide an appropriation for the Norwella Council, Boy Scouts of America, and to otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Move to adopt.
Been moved by Commissioner Jackson and seconded by Commissioner Watts. Commissioner Jackson, you want to speak to the motion?
No, I actually thought Commissioner Gage Watts would make it. I'm good.
Commissioner Watts, you want to speak to your motion? Second.
I reserve unless I need to.
Seeing no other, roll call.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell, Commissioner Cawthorn,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts,
Yes.
Commissioner Talifero,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus,
Yes.
and Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries with 11 in support and 1 absent. And that brings us for zoning ordinances for introduction by title. We have 1 item under here today, and that is to introduce ordinance number 6037 of 2021 in relation to zoning case 20-22-P. It's an ordinance to amend Volume 2 of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo as amended, the Caddo Parish Unified Development Code, by amending the zoning of property located on the northeast and southeast corners of Dixie-Shreveport Highway and I-220, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from I-2 Heavy Industrial District and NA Natural Areas District to OS Open Space District, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. That's in District 1. Okay, that brings us now to ordinances for introduction by title. We have several ordinances to introduce by title today, and I will begin to read those. The first item is ordinance number 6031 of 2021. It's an ordinance declaring certain adjudicated properties to be surplus and to authorize the parish administrator or a designee to sell the parish of Caddo's tax interest in certain surplus adjudicated properties and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. And then introducing ordinance number 6035 of 2021, an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the Riverboat Fund in the amount of $10,000 to provide an appropriation for the Betty and Leonard Phillips Deaf Action Center and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is introducing ordinance number 6036 of 2021. It's an ordinance amending the 2020 budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the Riverboat Fund to reduce the appropriation for riverboat revenue by $300,000. The next item is to introduce ordinance number 6038 of 2021. It's an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenue and expenditure for the Riverboat Fund for the year 2021 to provide an appropriation of $250,000 for mental health agencies and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is to introduce ordinance number 6041 of 2021. It's an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the Riverboat Fund and the Oil and Gas Fund in the amount of $30,000 to provide an appropriation to Northwest Louisiana Food Bank and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is introducing ordinance number 6042 of 2021. It's an ordinance adopting the budget of estimated expenditures for the E. Edward Jones Housing Trust Fund and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is introducing ordinance number 6043 of 2021, and that's an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the E. Edward Jones Housing Trust Fund for the year 2021 to appropriate funds received from the U.S. Treasury for the Emergency Rental Assistance Program and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. That is all of the items that we have for introduction by title today. And the next section on your agenda is work session minutes. You do have one set of work session minutes attached.
Move to ratify. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Cawthorn, seconded by, I don't know who that was.
That was Epperson move.
And Jackson second.
Okay. Well, I heard Cawthorn in there somewhere, so I take Commissioner Epperson on the motion and Commissioner Cawthorn on the second.
Loud.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hopkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Young,
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Cawthorn,
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Gage Watts, I didn't hear you. If you responded.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Talaferro,
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez,
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus,
Yes.
and Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right, that motion passes with 12 in support and none absent. And that brings us to resolutions. The first item under resolutions today is resolution number 28 of 2021. It's a resolution supporting the American Rescue Plan and to otherwise provide with respect thereto from Commissioner Jackson.
Move to adopt.
Second. Second.
Who was the second?
Burrell.
Okay, then moved by Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Burrell to adopt resolution number 28 of 2021. Commissioner Jackson, you want to speak to your motion?
Not at this particular time.
Okay. Commissioner Atkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. The American Rescue Plan, this is the legislation that's currently working itself through the Senate. It's already been passed by the House. This is the $1.9 trillion program that's being suggested as an aid to the community at large, the United States community. I think there are a lot of very good things in the American Rescue Plan. However, in my humble opinion, we're putting too much money out into the economy too quickly. You know, I don't claim to be the expert economist in the room or to know more than some of the experts in the administration who are recommending this plan. But to me, it just feels like too much too soon. And for that reason, I'll humbly be voting no. Thank you.
Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, President. Thanks for answering those questions for me, Commissioner Atkins. I was going to ask, is this the same thing that's going on nationally? All the items that Commissioner Jackson listed on this legislation are great, and I like that. So from the face value, it looked really good. However, if you dial down deep into what they're passing in Congress and soon to be the Senate, there's just a lot of stuff that don't have to do with, I think, the core intent of what that piece of legislation even stands for. So I'm just gonna vote no on it because it's just a resolution. That's all. I'm just stating my opinion on it. Thank you, Chairman.
All right. Commissioner Jackson.
Well, I would hope that the rabble rousers over at Kiel and y'all tell Erin McCarty and whatever the guy named her partner that I'm speaking of them because they like to instigate things. There was a resolution that was tabled about supporting national law enforcement. And my preference was, let's have a focus on how the benefits of our community can be impacted. So I don't think that individuals who may vote on this resolution will end up trying to be humiliated or embarrassed in the community at large. I doubt they will do that. But I question it, why they wouldn't, because the resolution on the table today is simply the guidelines and parameters that NACO actually asked us to focus on. When I asked the clerk and legal to draft this, I specifically asked them to leave any political angles out. This is just the language in which NACO, an organization that we are a part of. I believe a lot of folks will be attending the NACO conference next week to talk about, advocate, and push for these priorities. These are resources that are coming back, that have the opportunity to come back to Caddo Parish. And I think we should be on a record as saying we need these resources. I got to ask, we've been sitting here, I've gotten a text message and I sent it over to Dr. Wilson, and the text message reads, there was a young lady in court today that needs somewhere to stay. She will be homeless tomorrow. She has been without work. Really bad situation, broke my heart. Does anyone have any connection for a shelter or financial assistance? So the notion that we have to get bogged down in the minutia. Look, I have steered clear of some of the things that I thought may have been overly partisan. I've steered clear of that because I got my eyes on a bigger prize. And I don't think we can afford to get down deep in the weeds. Caddo Parish needs support. We need relief dollars. We need additional rental assistance. We need the mortgage assistance. We need support for our school system that has had troubles with providing broadband to the community. And so I don't want to have folks thinking that you're on the record as supporting some Democrat plan. We have to get beyond these Democrat Republican positions and start talking about our community. What does our community need? And to be honest, there are some things in the bill that as a Democrat, I would question. But what this legislation that is before us is solely the priorities that NACO, our national affiliation, is asking local bodies to support. And so I'm asking us to simply file our resolution with everybody else that's going to file a resolution on behalf of NACO, because there's power in numbers. And that's all this is. This is not to create some scenario where you can be labeled as being aligned with Joe Biden. That's not what this is. This is Caddo focused. And if we're saying that we don't need these dollars in Caddo, then let me know. Because I can stop getting on all these phone calls that we're getting on. We can stop having all these conversations that we're having. We can tell them, hey, send our resources elsewhere. We don't need them here. Send our resources somewhere else. These are local priorities, and our constituents need this support. And all we're saying is on these items, we support what's in the plan. That's it. Nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. Commissioner Quantum.
Thank you, Mr. President. Commissioner Jackson, I did look at what you had outlined here. And I just want to go on the record as saying, at the end of the day, it just kind of is what it is. There are 6 people that sit on this body that have a D behind their name. There are another 6 people that sit on this body that have an R behind their name. So to some extent, there's always going to be some filtration of political ideology. So, but I do like the fact that I would think that some of my Republican colleagues would note that the the $15 minimum wage is taken out of here. There's some infrastructure projects that are taken out of it as the bill moves through the Senate. And Senator Cassidy, I think in the day is supporting the broadband piece. So I would say, is there a mechanism by which we can narrow this resolution down to that we can all be on the same page with it? Because it's something, it's fundamental to the continuity of what people are suffering in America right now. Needs to be advanced and it needs to be moved forward. I would love for us to be on the same page with NACO. And you make an excellent point when you say that these are things that are germane to Caddo Parish, to Shreveport, Louisiana. And I often think that politically, ideological, that we need to be focused on things that are germane to Shreveport, Louisiana. So thank you very, very much, Mr. President.
Commissioner Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to say to Commissioner Jackson, thank you, first of all, for providing this resolution to support our national delegation as well. And I would like to come straight from the resolution where it says that the American Rescue Plan will do the following: provide critical funding to support vaccine development and distribution. We definitely need that. Increases COVID-19 testing and contact tracing. Louisiana, Caddo Parish needs that. Provide state and local aid needed to help local governments respond to COVID-19 and economic effects. We hungry in Caddo. Needed. Provide much needed direct payments to struggling low income and middle class families. Imperative. Provide additional $25 billion in rental assistance. That'll help a lot of homeless people. Provide $10 billion mortgage assistance to homeowners, those who are struggling to keep what they already have. Encourage and fund safe school reopening. I think we all want to get our children back to school safely. And start the process of repealing the Medicaid exclusion that will save dollars on inmate healthcare costs. We've been fighting about that for some time. Commissioners, this is a resolution that will support what we need to happen in Caddo Parish. I think that sometimes we come to the table with things that don't matter. Sometimes we can make the worst decisions. It seems like the most inopportune times. This is a resolution that I will be supporting for all of the reasons that I stated. And I ask you all to join me in supporting this resolution. Thank you.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Let me turn everybody's heads this afternoon. One of the things, if this was just an organization that was on the East Coast or West Coast, that'd be one thing. But National Association of Counties comes from Middle America also. And I think some of these things are important to us right now. And it's only a resolution. So I'm actually going to support this resolution today.
Wow. Let's turn some heads there, buddy.
Commissioner Burrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, I apologize for getting here late, but I'm fighting State Farm right now, who don't want to pay me for flooding. But gentlemen, I'm not quite as diplomatic as some of you guys. I guess I've been in different governments, and I've seen and heard a lot that I don't approve of. Sound like I'm getting some echo from somewhere.
I think you logged on your phone and you logged on somewhere else, maybe.
No, I don't. No, my phone is
You
not on.
may try. Did you try muting your computer? That might help.
Muting my
Better. That's better though.
No, I haven't done anything other than turning it on and got on like I normally do. But
You sound better now. The feedback's gone.
Okay, well, whatever that is. Okay, well, anyway, like I said, I'm not quite as diplomatic as some of you guys. I guess, I've dealt with a lot of different issues with a lot of different people. But Commissioner Cawthorn just said that because some of us have a D behind our name and others have an R behind our name, we seem to not be able to ever come to any resolution on much of anything. Unfortunately, this resolution that is being put forth is very similar, but it's not the same as someone that has a B behind their name. And I'm sure that we would probably get more support if there was a T behind the name, but we don't have that. But we still have the same people that's suffering. I'm getting ready to work with Galilee, which is my church, to give, to set up a food line for over 1,000 boxes of food that's going to be given to people who need them in Caddo Parish. I'm offering my colleagues to come out there and join us if you haven't been in those food lines and seeing the need that's out there. Maybe that would possibly make a difference in how you view these things. Everything is not political. These people are hurting. We have people out there that's lost their job. My son lost his job. So I'm dealing with my own personal issues, and when I have to sit here and fight with colleagues that I have respect for simply because of partisan politics, and let me tell you, I don't bite my tongue. I know I know what's happening, and I think it's totally unfair to the people that we serve that we cannot have enough compassion and empathy for those who are out there that's just dealing with things from day to day. We got this rental program that we're dealing with, and I've sent more people that have gotten turned around. It was just read that from Commissioner Jackson that he got a text. This lady don't know where she's going to live. Maybe some of you that's going to oppose it, maybe you should take them home. They're decent people. Take them home and give them a place. Whenever it's not us, sometimes we cannot feel the pain of others. But this resolution hopefully will try to bring some semblance back after we've gone through all of this. I know you can say we're bleeding hearted liberals. I would rather be that than a stone-hearted person that cannot feel for others. So while we're saying that we're trying to support something that will hopefully bring some semblance back to a situation that we have gone through for a whole year. You're not going to lose no votes over that, because many of the people that you think you're going to lose votes on, they're going to be in that food line, and they'll understand. So take some relief off, take some pressure off yourself. Everything is not about politics. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Call for the question.
Second.
Yeah.
Then call for the question by the chair, second by Commissioner Jackson.
Second.
All right. Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I think that Commissioner Chavez has a compromise solution that may work for everybody if you would be willing to entertain his substitute motion.
I made the call for the question.
10-4.
Right. We tried.
Okay. Roll call. Mr. Clerk, it's on you.
I'm sorry, I've been speaking and calling roll and I was on mute. My apologies. Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
No.
Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner Burrell, I didn't hear your response.
Yes.
Commissioner Cawthorn.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Yes.
Commissioner Talaferro.
No.
Commissioner Atkins.
No.
Commissioner Chavez.
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Yes.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries with 9 in support and 3 in opposition. And so that brings us to the resolution that is from Commissioner Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Burrell. It's Resolution 28 to adopt. And Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell.
Yes.
Commissioner Cawthorn.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Yes.
Commissioner Talaferro.
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins.
No.
Commissioner Chavez.
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Yes.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries with 11 in support and 1 in opposition. And that brings us to resolution number 29, which is a resolution submitting to Governor John Bell Edwards a name for appointment for membership of the Red River Waterway Commission. Just as a note, this is like was referenced in the work session, but for those who might be listening, this is a reappointment for Mr. Latier, who is on Ron Latier, who is on the
Move to adopt.
Second.
Been moved by the chair, seconded by the vice president to adopt resolution number 29 of 2021. Commissioner Atkins.
I second it, so no need to speak on it. Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I saw your hand
That's
up.
an old hand. I'm sorry.
Commissioner Cawthorn, your hand old or new?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Roll call, please.
So I'm sorry, somehow Commissioner Atkins's hand continues to get raised. I think a button might be stuck somewhere.
I think
it may not be your doing, Commissioner Atkins.
I think God wants me to speak.
Okay, I'm sorry. Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell.
Yes.
Commissioner Cawthorn.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Yes.
Commissioner Talaferro.
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez.
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Yes.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries with 12 in support and none in opposition. And that brings us to old business, of which we have none on the agenda today, no items to take up. So we'll move on to new business. Under new business, we do have a few items. Our first item is reappointments to the Caddo Parish Animal Services Board. This is to authorize the reappointment of Sarah Walton and Lorraine Guerrero to the Caddo Parish Animal Services Board, with terms to expire January 1, 2025.
Move to adopt. Move to global and adopt all appointments.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner Hopkins, second by Commissioner
Jackson.
Young to englobo and adopt all the reappointment and the appointments to the Caddo Parish Animal Services Board. Commissioner Hopkins, you want to speak to the motion?
No, sir.
Just for clarity's sake.
Commissioner Chavez, I see you.
Thank you, Chairman. Really quick, can I hear that clarification from Mr. Everson?
Oh, I was just going to ask, does that motion include the appointment to the Lakeview Water System Board?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I thought so. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Okay. My question is just.
That's right.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
On the Animal Service Board, I see that this is put under administration. Is this just like a volunteer basis? Did people that are on here volunteer to be back on the board again?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was confirmed. That's all, Chairman. Thank you.
All right, roll call.
Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell.
Yes.
Commissioner Cawthorn.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Yes.
Commissioner Talaferro.
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez.
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Yes.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion carries with 12 in support and none in opposition. And that brings us to the final item under new business, which is to authorize the parish administrator to draft a letter of support for Project C.
So move.
Second. Moved by Commissioner Carthon, seconded by Commissioner who?
Jackson.
Or Jackson.
Jackson. Commissioner Carthon, you want to speak to your motion?
Just very briefly, we know this is one of these economic development deals, and we need a letter of support that comes from the administrator. And so as a mechanism of not, because we're still in a competitive posture, we don't want to discuss too much of what's going on. So we need to get the letter signed and sent out by the administrator.
All right. Jeff, add me to this one as well.
Okay.
And we'll do roll call.
Me also, Mr. Chairman.
We'll do that. Anybody else?
Me.
I heard that, Commissioner Burrell. Thank you very much. I'll add you. Okay, are we ready for roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, Commissioner Hopkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell.
Yes.
Commissioner Cawthorn.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Yes.
Commissioner Talaferro.
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez.
Yes.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Yes.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries with 12 in support and none in opposition. And that brings us to communicating committee reports.
I will ask that our commissioners be mindful that we do have a appeal on the Animal Service Board case after citizens' comment. So, Commissioner Atkins, I saw your hand, and then Jackson and Chavez and Watts.
Sir, I just, unfortunately, I didn't have a, pardon me, Mr. President, we good?
Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did not, unfortunately, have an opportunity to propose the substitute motion to resolution number 28, which would have read a resolution supporting some aspects of the American Rescue Plan and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. I could have voted yes on wording such as that. So thank you for listening.
All right, Commissioner Jackson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Dr. Wilson, or I don't know if this should be attorney. I see Attorney Bernstein. Okay, I see Attorney Frazier down there. Is there something that we could send to the courts or a letter or something asking them to hold off on evictions? I guess you wouldn't call it a brief or a memo, or I don't know. Is there something that we can ask them to do on the official parish letterhead saying, hey, you know, we're getting the program up and going. It's just, you know, we got to get things situated before we can press go. But hopefully they won't start back doing grand evictions or whatever. And we're this close to pulling the trigger. I shouldn't say pulling the trigger. I try not to. We're this close to press and go. Is there anything that we can offer there to the court and to ask them to basically refer people to the program? They could just call over and say, hey, put us on the list. Is there anything that we can do?
Commissioner, Dr. Wilson could send a letter, but of course they're not required to take that into consideration. And I would expect that part of the outreach efforts for the program will be to notify the courts that the assistance is available and send them to the persons who are going to be submitting the application.
Okay. Yeah, Dr. Wilson, I don't know if you could, what do you think? You want to draft a letter to them and send over by maybe Monday or something to just, I'm not saying send them 2 or 3 pages because I know your letter can get kind of long.
Yes, sir. By chance, so you know which court that action is being taken in?
I hadn't got that back yet, but I imagine it would be anybody on the civil bench. Turner Fraser.
District court? So it's district court or city court?
The evictions are being handled at city court and through justice of the peace court. The district court does not handle evictions.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah. So, so I don't know, just maybe something to just a blanket to all of them, and just say, hey.
It'd be worthwhile to make an attempt to do what we can, and we'll send a letter out.
And even if it's not a letter, maybe an email to the judicial administrators, if that's more kind of concise, maybe to the judicial administrators to just say, hey, we're almost at the point, if you got people coming in, they can call this number and put their name on the list. I don't know.
Yes, sir.
I guess maybe something to Mr. Miles, and I forgot who's the judicial. I'm sorry, to Mr. Miles, and I guess the justice of the peace don't have a judicial administrator, but something that we can get out kind of quickly, letting them know, hey, we know there's some uncertainty out there, but can you, because the landlords seem to be getting more impatient now. So that's what I'm sensing, is that the landlords are growing more and more impatient. The other thing,
landlords can call us too and put their names on the list.
Right.
And,
right.
And they can apply on behalf of their tenants as well.
Right. And that's what I've been encouraging. And so that's why I'm saying I think they may be getting a little bit more antsy, and just because my understanding, if I'm correct, if my understanding is correct, the judges, they didn't necessarily dismiss the eviction cases. They just kind of continued them for a certain period of time. And it may just be time where the continuance is up and they coming back saying where we are. I don't know. That may be the case. I'm not sure. But just something to say, hey, we're almost there. Can you give us some time? And hey, give them this number to call and put their name on the list. I think that'll be worthwhile, and it'll definitely stop any issues going on. The other thing that I want to encourage us to do, I see where Bossier City is hosting a mass vaccination site. I'm a little concerned, and I think I may ask our committee to draft a letter or something, or something. I have no issues with Bossier and the CenturyLink Center, but I am concerned as we talk about equity and diversity with regard to the vaccination. Just the geographic location of the, I guess they call it BGC Arena, Bossier Brookshire's Grocery Center. The BGC is that it is, if you look at the dynamics of Shreveport, it's in the southeast, it's closest to the southeast. No offense, Commissioner Atkins, but the most affluent areas of southeast Shreveport. And you have the most affluent areas of Bossier where it's located. And so there's always this conversation about equity. I'm just trying to understand why wasn't maybe some of the high school gymnasiums considered, or Sussler considered. But if for me to get to my house to the CenturyLink Center or the BGC Arena, that's a 30-minute drive one way. And the folks in All City and North Caddo and Keithville, that's even longer. So I think we need to have a conversation with our public health administrator about one, the optics, but two, the issue of equity and disparity, if we're going to truly be about the business of addressing vaccine disparities. If you're riding the bus, I think that's three or four changes that you would have to make just to get in front of the arena over there. And then I just will say, I'm glad that we're doing things. We have some opportunities coming. I would just ask Dr. Wilson, if things are going on in my district, please apprise me of it in advance. I don't always have to have the details, particularly when they are sensitive details, but I do like to know what's going on the front end and not the back end.
Okay, sir. Will do.
That's it for me, Mr. President. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Watts.
You have an echo, Mr. President.
It's not me.
Okay.
Somebody else.
Maybe that was me. I'm speaking. Happy Women's History Month. Monday, March 8th is International Women's Day, honoring women in leadership, achieving an equal future in a COVID-19 world. While over 2 million women has left the workforce during the pandemic, 24 women are serving in Senate and 119 in the House. Countless women are to be celebrated for their social, economic, cultural, and political achievements. This day also marks a call to action for accelerating women's equality. I would like to quote, "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples." Speaking of women, there's no limit to what women can do. Our own Mrs. CAO, as I call her officially, Erica Bryant, administration, Dr. Wilson, your staff, thank you for everything that you have done and are doing to help our citizens during this pandemic, as well as the polar vortex. You made sure that many citizens received water and would have not received that water in any other facet if it was not for your service. Thank you. Every call that I received was answered because of those who are often behind the scenes like yourself. So here's to strong women. May we know them. Optional LSU Health will have COVID-19 vaccinations at Century Tel in Bossier on Saturday, March 6th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Those vaccinations will be administered according to the CDC guidelines. Testing will also continue next week, Monday at Mamie Hicks, Tuesday and Wednesday at Kirby's, Thursday at the Providence House, and Friday at Airport Park. We are definitely not out of the woods. It is not over. There are many variants that are out there, and now is the time to be safer than ever before. Please continue to be safe, wash your hands, wear your mask, practice social distancing, even if you have received the COVID-19 vaccine. Thank you.
Commissioner Burrell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to ask Dr. Wilson, how close are we to implementing the rental program that we have?
Commissioner Burrell, we're getting real close. Prayerfully within another week or so, we should have it up and running. At least the application process, and we're working very hard to make that happen. We're just trying to get the contract all signed with our administrators. So I think we're making good progress.
Yeah, but that so part is kind of indefinite.
No, sir. We had it as our goal the 1st of March, but we missed it by a week because of the weather conditions. We couldn't do a lot of things we needed to do. So we're hoping we just slipped it by a week.
Okay, about a week then. So that's so is a little definite then.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was listening to Commissioner Jackson on the vaccination sites, and I noticed he mentioned the Central Tel over there, but he didn't mention Galilee and the State Fair. I know that they have mass vaccination there. They seem like they are running pretty good. And then I noticed another one in the paper, Cheverland, LSU 2627 Linwood. I assume that that's site for the teachers and stuff. That was another, look like there's another site there. The other thing is to Jeff. I think I had asked for a resolution for Dr. Jane for his research that he's doing, and I didn't see it appear. So check back and see if we do a resolution of commendation for Dr. Jane, because he's doing some very important work with vitamin D as it relates to our immune system, and also is going to relate to a fight against COVID. So I think that's a very, very important piece of research that he's doing. He made a presentation at our work session. You could understand some of the things weren't so clear, but it would be good to get his research paper and look at it. It'd be very fascinating, very educational. Thank you, Mr. President.
Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, President. Let's see. Yeah, with Commissioner Atkin, I agree. I was going to make the motion
wanted to change it, but Commissioner Jackson said we couldn't change the title, had to change the body. But my substitute motion was going to read a resolution highlighting the below items, supporting these items from the American Rescue Plan and otherwise provide with respect thereto. It shouldn't have been political. It's just there's a lot of items in the national bill that aren't really helping people that we need to help. So I applaud Commissioner Jackson for extrapolating those items and sticking them in there, which ultimately I voted for it on Monday. And again, I voted for it right now, even though we didn't get the opportunity to change that. So wanted to update that. Long range planning, we had a great AAR. We had a lot of people come on board. I emailed all the commissioners, I think the hot button points of what we could take away. And then I'll get with Dr. Wilson, and over the next couple of weeks, we'll formulate plans and figure out where we can go from there. We still have a lot of people to hear from. I know Commissioner Jackson is working on moving that needle as well. So I'll get with him and we'll make some progress on that. We're going to have all the other items that we did not get to put on the long range planning on Monday next week. We're going to do this Wednesday, the 10th at 10 a.m. So put that down on your calendars. Other than that, thanks, Chairman.
Commissioner Gage, what?
Thank you. Quick question. Is there any specific place, Dr. Wilson, that will assist citizens with broken pipes, their plumbing issues, those who still don't have running water?
Not that I'm aware of, ma'am. Let me try to ascertain that for you. And I'll let you know tomorrow. Today, I don't have an answer for you today, but let me try and find out.
Thank you, sir. That's it, Mr. President.
All right, next item.
I'm sorry, I didn't go off mute right away when I thought it did. The next item we have is citizens' comments, late arrivals. We have not received any additional citizens' comments electronically throughout the meeting, but that phone number, should anybody want to call in and make a citizen's comment, is 318-226-6596. And I don't know if you'd like to give a couple seconds or how long.
A few seconds.
Okay. I'll let you know if a call comes through in the next few seconds. Doesn't look like we're receiving any calls.
Next item.
Okay, that brings us to the Caddo Animal Services Board Appeal for case number C06106204. I believe Mr. Allen is on the line. And what we will do, this is, for the public and, for those who may be interested, as a recap, this is an appeal that we receive directly from the Caddo Animal Services Board when a determination has been made that a dog is deemed a dangerous dog by code. An appeal can be made to the Animal Services Board, and if the person does not agree with their decision, it can be appealed directly to the commission, which is where we find ourselves today. And so on the agenda is a linked summary of the case. Following the dates that are listed in that summary, Animal Services held a board with the Animal Services Board representatives on February 9th, 2021, deeming the dog in question dangerous. The dog in question is at Caddo Parish Animal Services until a decision is made. The owner of the dog in question has the right to appeal the decision of Animal Services Board, and they have appealed that decision, deeming the dog dangerous, and that's why we are here. It's now up to the commission body to rule on the dog in question. We will start with the appellant, who will have up to 10 minutes to present his argument.
Well, Joe, I want to turn it over to Kelvin for him to go over it, and then we'll turn it over to those. Mr. Samuels, you on? Okay, I see you.
Yeah, he's on.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Now we can.
Yeah.
Okay. So the case that you all have with you, commissioners, That is a particular case. I'll kind of break it down a little bit and give you more of a visual. So on the first, I would say on the first of case, the first case, the actual animal that's in question, she was actually running at large at another resident. So the resident now that's in question is the report that you all should have, which is 2809 Alkay Drive. And what happened, if you read the report, you know, it was a dog attacked. The dog in question is a female that's here at the shelter. Her name is Lola, and it was a male dog, which was Foot. They somehow ended up in the adjacent neighbor's yard and attacked their dog. Okay, Lola was on the back end of the citizen's dog, and Foot was on the front. Okay, 2 shots was fired by the complainant, you know, hoping that the dog would release. So he tried to shoot and ricochet off the ground to scare the dogs, but he ended up hitting Lola. Lola ran back under the fence, back into the yard that, you know, that she belongs to. Foot let go, but according to the report and from, you know, the Animal Services Board, Foot proceeded to attack the complainants. And a shot was fired with the .45, which actually killed Foot on spot. So from all the actions, the actual board was called, and you know, the board was called, and they deemed Lola dangerous as well. So when Lola was deemed dangerous, the actual owners of the dog has 3 days to appeal. Those appeal, it goes to the commission clerk. Commission clerk now has the actual case, and this is where we stand now. So once he appealed, it goes to the commission body. Now, may I mind you that Lola is pregnant. She's about in her 3rd trimester. So I want that piece of information to be out there as well. So now it's in the commission body hand to rule your hearing on this particular animal once the case is read. You know, just coming from a medical standpoint, she did end up with a URI here, and she was treated with Clavamox. So, I mean, that doesn't injure the fetus, but, you know, if whatever decision is, we would like for the animal to be removed from the shelter, whatever the decision is from the commission body, so that she can have her puppies, because we're not manned here 24 hours in case there's some type of complications from the pregnancy. So I just wanted to put that out there as well.
Okay.
Say that recommendation again, Mr. Samuel.
So yes, sir. So Commissioner Johnson, I recommend that whatever you all rule on Lola, I would recommend that Lola goes to a private veterinarian of the owner's choice to have her puppies, for the simple fact that we're not manned here 24 hours in case she faces dystocia, which is complications of birth. And that tends to happen with bully breeds because of the size of their heads. So if she goes into any complications, you know, our contracted veterinarians will not be here on site. So whatever your ruling is, whether you all continue with the dangerous, you know, she'll have to come here and get all the requirements for the dog being deemed dangerous, you know, and they're armed with everything that goes with that. All the equipment, they'll have to come here and, you know, and we'll provide that to them, you know, if that's what you all, you know, deem Lola as. So it's in y'all's hands now, you know, but like I said, I got different stories. about the case. Lola was at large. You know, Lola and Foot, they were at large. This is the second time that they were at large. We have no say-so on what the board deems. We just facilitate it, provide the case, and it is up to the board, which is ran by Dr. Brad Everson. And so
just when Brad Everson?
Yes, Brad Everson's. So that's what they continued. We deem the dog once we hear about the case and the severity of it. We initially deem it, then we call the board, which we had the board, and they stood with what we said by deeming it dangerous. And so now the appeal went forward to you all. And so now it's up to you all to vote on Lola for staying dangerous or whatever decision you all think is best.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Samuel.
Yes, sir.
We'll hear from the Allens.
Let me speak to him. Hello, how y'all doing?
Fine, how you doing?
I'm fine. I don't know when the appeal, the board came about, they had witnesses come that I know nothing about. And so the people that I had that was there when the stuff happened with Lola and Foot, they didn't tell me anything about it. So there was like me coming by myself with Lola, the other person that's overloaded too. It's only us who came. I had other people that was also. So the story that they told, they never got my side of the story. Even when the officers came out, they never got my side of the story. So the whole decision was like, I feel like they didn't never get my side. So I feel like it was unfair. Lola never been dangerous to the community. Lola never been dangerous at all. Like her being large, she's a large dog, but she never been dangerous. I have 4 kids, so I'm not gonna raise no dog that's aggressive around 4 kids. So I don't know where do they get it saying she's dangerous or whatever. And then she never got in the other person's yard. But like I said, no one never got my story or my statement. So it's like whatever my statement was, it didn't matter.
Okay. That's it?
Yeah. That's it.
Okay. We got a couple of commissioners that want to ask some questions, starting with Commissioner Jackson.
So Kelvin.
Yes, sir.
How many times was this the first time this situation took place?
No, so the first time she was at large was 2019. She was young. Yeah, that was.
Hold on, ma'am. Okay, go ahead, Kelvin.
Yes, so the last time she was at large was 2019. So I think at that particular time it was Brookwood Drive. She was a young puppy at that particular time. So we also discussed that. But she didn't do anything for us, any bites or anything like that. She was just at large.
But there seems to be a pattern of the dog getting out or being loose at large.
Well, and that's the
thing. Not necessarily charging anybody, but there seems to be a pattern of the dog not adequately being where it's supposed to be. Is that correct?
Well, this is the second time, but this particular time they just happened to injure, someone's dog got injured in the process.
So you gave them the benefit of the doubt the first time. The second time somebody got hurt. Is that correct?
Yeah, someone's dog got attacked. Yes, sir.
Oh, somebody's dog got, did the dog that was attacked die?
It didn't die. It incurred a vet bill. It was, she had a couple of cuts to the head and to the back leg. So,
I mean, I have expressed, and it's no secret that I have expressed about dogs being loose, and I'm open to honest mistakes and things of that nature. And when I hear people say, well, my dog not dangerous, I don't know your dog from Adam, and your dog don't know me from Joe. And so the way the dog, Kelvin, the way dogs interact with people in general. I mean, can we give a wholesale category of, somebody that says, well, my dog, when my dog is with me, they fine. But is that normal? When they see somebody else, they may just go haywire or berserk.
Well, the key thing, when we're deeming a dog dangerous, the key word is provoked, unprovoked.
Mm-hmm.
But if no one was on scene, it could be a host of things. The neighbor's dog could have been in heat. You never know what caused that. But it's hard to say what actually set this particular attack off. They were at large. I don't know how they got into the neighbor's yard, but that was the case. Like I said, she could have been, and dogs went on a pack mentality, depending on what was going on with the neighbor's animal, they run as a pack. So I don't know who was leading the pack, who attacked first. All they know is that they heard a lot of commotion, a lot of noise, and the neighbor adjacent went and alerted the owner of the dog that was being attacked.
I just got a couple more. I just got a couple more. I'm just curious. What is the dog? Is the recommendation of the board for the dog to be put down, or is the recommendation of the board?
No.
To contain the dog. I think it sounds like the recommendation of the board is to do the most humane thing possible to me. Am I missing that?
No, sir. So no, you're not missing it. So vicious is a category that the dog will automatically, that's the driving force to be put down. But Lola is deemed dangerous. And when an animal is deemed dangerous, there's stipulations that goes along with that particular animal being deemed dangerous. That means, the owner of the dog, of course, have to abide by following mandates within 30 days if you all classify that dog as being dangerous.
But they didn't recommend putting the dog down.
No.
And if I heard you correct, it sounds like y'all are providing them, the owners, with the equipment. Did I hear you say that?
Yes, there's an annual fee if your dog is deemed dangerous by the commission body. There's a collar that's provided. Animal Services will provide that collar to be worn at all times. She'll be computerized, microchipped at CPAS at the owner's expense. The owner shall immediately notify Animal Control Center when a dangerous dog is loose or unconfined or has bitten a human or attacked another animal. The dog has to wear a muzzle. There's certain confinement requirements that I'll provide depending on you all's decision.
Mm-hmm.
And the owner shall, promptly display a sign, to the Animal Control Center at the owner's expense on his premises or her premises at all entry points, warnings that the dangerous dog is on property. So all that stuff is here at our facility.
Okay. It just seems like it's the most humane, at least in my opinion. It sounds like they tried to come up with the most humane, but at the same time, the most reasonable thing to do. I mean, if you got a dog that is getting out, and again, I understand when you're with your owner, I mean, and I'm not comparing people to dogs. I definitely wouldn't do that. But, you take a 4th, 5th grade classroom when the teacher is away and substitute is there, no telling what might happen. So I just want, and last question, did the person who shot the dog, were they arrested or anything?
No. Who said no? No, they was not arrested.
I'm talking with Mr. Samuels. Hold on.
No, they were not arrested.
Were they cited, or was there any?
No, so in that particular situation, hearing from that particular individual that shot the dog, they was fending for their life when foot attacked. That's what we received from the board.
And SPD would have been a
SPD and CSO was on scene.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me, Mr. President. Thank you.
Now with the situation, it's mandatory, in the ordinance, if your animal is impounded a second time, mandatory spay neuter is required. And so, like I said, keep in mind that she is pregnant. So that's part of the hearing. I wanted to, kind of inform you all of that as well. She's in her 3rd trimester, meaning she could actually have these puppies maybe in a week or so, 2 weeks. We don't have an x-ray machine, but she's dropped milk. So
I'm sorry, Mr. President, he's prompted another question. So what happens if the puppies are had, and then we can't control the puppies? I'm just trying to figure out what do you do now, Kelvin?
So in that particular case,
because now instead of one problem, you got 2 or 3 or 4 problems at that point.
Now we can encourage, it's still their property, but I recommend, like we did before at the board, that Lola, after she has the puppies, which I recommend the puppies not be born in Caddo Parish Animal Services Facility. Like I said, due to complications that may possibly happen. But after the puppies, and then after she has the puppy, I recommend that she's spayed. I mean, at their own veterinarian clinic, and provide that paperwork to us after that procedure takes place. Now, my recommendation for the puppies, that's their property. I recommend spay neuter for the puppies. That's just my recommendation. And, once we reach that portion, we can discuss that as well.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. Shelby.
Thank you, President. Director Samuel, is this the same house that I went over to?
You went to the house in 2019, absolutely.
So these are the same dogs?
Yes, she was a puppy at that point.
Okay. Commissioners, I actually went on, this is in my district. I went on this call. I wasn't sure if these were the same dogs. I received videos of them tearing up the neighbor's fence, and ultimately the neighbors had to get me involved to go over there for ACO to go over there to confiscate these dogs. Director Samuel, so the dogs were confiscated, but then they got the dogs back?
We had to conduct a fence inspection for them to get the animals back.
Okay, and then they moved to a different property, like 234. Okay, that makes sense. And the reason for this appeal is they're appealing the decision, and the board's decision is not to euthanize, but rather to deem dangerous, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so now coming to the board, or I'm sorry, to the commission board. Well, commissioners, I wanted to guarantee that this was the same dangerous dog that I encountered before. And I'm sorry that this happened to these individuals. But I've had many calls from different neighbors addressing these animals. I can't make a motion now, but my motion, if it does come back around, will be to uphold the board's decision. Thank you, President.
Commissioner Talaferro.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the report that I have before me, is this the same report that we're looking at, the one established on 1/15/2021, 11:10 hours?
Okay.
Or am I reading something different?
No, if you look, yes, you should just have the one that is actually, you should have the one on Alk.
Okay. One of the questions I'm leading off with is additional info. Says the 2 dogs are running at large, attacking an elderly man.
Oh, wow.
And it says per SPD, the neighbor shot both dogs and both dogs are now deceased. It doesn't sound like we're talking about the same case, so I want to be clear.
Right.
No. If you're looking at the report from Alk, the case number, the last 3 is 204.
Yes, sir. It was the one attached to the latest to the agenda.
That is the document. That's the same document. I was confused myself. It does have those.
2809 Alk Drive, single family dwelling, animal impounded, Shane McDonald, 1/20/21 at 1 p.m. 1300 hours.
Yes, with the back page showing 3 animals.
Let me go to the back page.
Yeah.
Yes.
1 animal died in that particular incident. That's the male. The female is alive, and then the the photo of the brown animal with the blood spot on the back leg.
On the back left?
Yes, that is the complainants. That's the owner of the dog that was attacked. That's the dog that was attacked.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. So
Yes, sir.
we do have, so we have one dog that was attacked, and that's the one that was shot in the left hip by accident, of course.
Yes.
Okay, and then we have two dogs that were shot and deceased.
No, actually the one that's at the bottom, Lola, the one that we're talking about that's pregnant, she's the gray and white.
Okay.
And
So
the
she's
one
our-
that's then of
she's our
course
last-
the
okay. Go on,
the
sorry.
top left, of course, that's the one that was shot with the 45.
Okay.
That's the one that died on instant shot.
Sure.
Yes, but the one at the bottom was shot with a birdshot 6-gauge shotgun.
Okay, but it's not deceased.
No, it's here in the shelter.
Okay, that's the one we're talking about. So
Yes.
I just was puzzled because of the narrative that I read saying that both dogs are now deceased because both dogs are shot according to SPD. That's all. I mean, you know,
Okay.
I have other questions, but
Yeah, that was yes, that was a report from SPD. But
okay, so
yes.
I think SPD kind of got some facts.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
no worries.
So
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay.
So that dog, Commissioner Talaferro at the bottom is
Yeah.
Lola. She's the one that's here.
Okay, good deal.
Yes, sir.
All right, so just a couple of questions. You know, basically the dog, in your opinion, the dog's demeanor is typical of a female getting ready to deliver, no signs of aggression right now?
Well, I mean, with humans, she's great. I mean, she gives
Well,
the
yeah, I
vet.
understand that, you know, and
Yes, she gives the vet team no problems.
sure. And everyone that owns more than one dog knows that you're right. They are a pack mentality and they will turn on each other depending on the stimulus.
Absolutely.
Okay. And we all understand, and I appreciate you explaining because I think everybody was going to, well, are we supposed to put this dog down? What's our recommendations? And you have articulated that there are procedures, you know, obviously having the dog sterilized, not taking the dog out of the city or the country, notifying obviously CPAS, you know, of any travels or anything of that nature. And then that special license, which typically is more expensive than a regular license, if I'm correct.
You are correct.
And that, you know, keeping the dog in a locked enclosure, and it goes on and on and on, of course. So, you know, and it's also, as I understand, that this is the second time that this dog got out. And the first time was when the dog was a puppy, but at that time, obviously, the puppy was probably not doing dangerous. And so I want to make it clear and for everybody understanding that all we're doing is labeling the dog dangerous, which, you know, sets in motion stipulations that the owners must abide to keep the dog, correct?
That is correct.
All right.
And may I add, you know,
Sure.
there's a lot of emotions, of course, was tied up in the particular case. Of course, you know, I hate that an animal had to get shot,
right,
you know, like that in front of, you know, I think a child witnessed it and everything. So there's a lot of emotions flaring.
Sure.
But like I wanted to make it clear, like you just stated, Commissioner Talaferro, this is not to make a decision to euthanize Lola. This
Right.
is to make, yes. And the recommendations, and it's in the ordinance, second at-large offense, you know, it's at animal control's discretion to have the animal spayed neutered.
Right.
You know, you can read a lot of studies that says spay neuter actually calms animals down. And I haven't had a chance to witness her around other animals because she's in the bite quarantine. So they are in a single facility by themselves. So, you know, I don't know what her aggression is.
Yes, I
with other
understand.
animals.
I,
Right.
I just want to make it clear that obviously anybody that does have multiple dogs knows, or if they've never broke up a fight between their own dogs, then they're very lucky for sure.
Right.
And then one thing that I'd like to know from the owners is that, of course, you know, we have a decision to make regarding those puppies. And that's not, I don't think that's our decision, but I was just curious what the intentions are for the puppies being born from Lola.
Lola's, okay, can I speak now?
Yes, ma'am, I'm good
Okay.
with it.
Lola's not an outside dog. We keep Lola in the house. With her. So when the puppies do come, I tend to don't give them away.
Okay.
Cause we're not gonna be able to keep puppies because I go to school and I work at a hospital, so I'm not gonna be able to keep puppies.
Yeah, well, it's unfortunate we didn't think about that prior to all this coming about, with a female and a male. And I guess that's a bridge we'll have to cross when we get to it. But that's all I have, Mr. President. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Sam.
All right. I make a motion to deem Lola dangerous by the board's recommendation and also our animal services recommendation, and to have her to be at a veterinarian when she is gonna have those puppies, and that the puppies once they are born will be turned over to the owners.
Second.
Been moved by the chair, second by somebody. I don't know who it was. Was that you, Mario?
Yes.
Okay, Commissioner Chavez, thanks for the second. Commissioner Jackson, you got a question on the motion?
I just would like to add a friendly amendment that whatever requirements as per the ordinance is enforced.
Huh?
The ordinance, I think Kelvin said that there are some things in the ordinance that once it's deemed dangerous, that has to take place, like the spay and neuter and things. I'm asking that we.
Yes.
As per the
I mean,
ordinance.
once you say it's dangerous.
Okay,
yeah,
I want to make
say
sure that
it's dangerous. Then
well, he seemed to suggest that there was some discretion. I'm saying let's take the discretion out and let's go to work.
Is there discretion, Mr. Samuel, or is it once you be deemed dangerous, you have to do these things?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
I thought you said the spay and neuter part was discretionary.
Yes, so the spay, so
that was on the puppies.
Okay.
That was on the puppies.
On hers,
but on
her as well.
Okay. I'm clear on that. Okay, I'm clear on that.
Okay, so I would also add that Lola would be spayed after she have the puppies.
Thank you.
I'll add that in.
You.
Any other questions?
One more for me, Mr. President, is that
okay.
I'm sorry. It's kind of my recommendation, and I'll defer to Mr. Samuel. Is that obviously the puppies will stay at the owner's house or where the veterinarian of their choice until they're weaned, or what's our time frame on that?
So, like I mentioned earlier, sir, my recommendation is for the owners to take Lola to their private veterinarian. Like I mentioned before, in bully breeds, there's a lot of cases where the stocia kicks in, and like I said, we don't have a veterinarian here 24/7 in case she goes into labor and have complications. I recommend private veterinarian once she has the puppies at that particular veterinarian clinic, however long it takes for them to pick their particular animal up to have the puppies weaned. But at some point, like Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson said, the biggest thing is second offense is mandatory spay neuter.
Yes,
Lola.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Yes. My concern now is going to be for those puppies, and my suggestion is that we make every effort to look for this particular breed, rescuers that actually deal in this particular breed rather than just kind of put them in general population, if you will. Because I'm sure that these puppies will definitely be able to thrive better, in a home that's actually, geared to this kind of a mixed breed or the pit bull breed.
Yes, I agree with that.
Last one. I promise.
How many times you done talk?
I
2, 3?
It's still light outside. Mr. Salmon.
Yes, sir.
if I'm correct, so what happens, does this label follows the dog, or does this label follows the owner?
This label follows the dog.
Okay, so if they sell a dog, whoever they sell it to got to know as well. Is there some?
If they sell the puppies,
the dog, Lola.
The dog.
Lola. They
No,
sell
no,
Lola.
they can't. If they sell Lola, they need to contact the department.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'm good. Thank you.
Roll call.
Yes. Thank you.
Roll call.
Okay. Sorry, it's just making sure I'm off mute. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Great. Commissioner Hopkins. Commissioner.
What else the same shit to say?
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson.
Yes.
Commissioner Young.
Yes.
Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner Cawthorn.
Yes.
Commissioner Gage Watts.
Yes.
Commissioner Talaferro.
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins.
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez. Commissioner Chavez, I didn't hear you if you responded. Commissioner Lazarus.
Yes.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Enough.
Okay.
He's gone.
Okay, thank you. So Commissioner Chavez, it looks like he's on the call, but I didn't hear a response. But if not, then let's see. I've got 8 in support and 4 absent, and so that motion carries.
All right. Next item is I will take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
So
adjourn.
move.
Second.
Good night.
All right.